Hello there. It's a cool August morning here in Pretoria and we are about to set off on an epic adventure. It's just after 5 a.m. and behind me is the BMW iX3. We are going to be taking this fully electric car on a trip to the Kruger National Park, and not just any part of the park, the northern parts, which are a little bit more remote. That makes it also a bit challenging to charge along the way because we've only got one DC fast charger on our route and a couple of slow chargers. Those will be in Polokwane because we plan to go in at Punda Gate and then head to Shingwedzi camp. From there we'll be using the standard 2.3 kilowatt plug charging, three-prong plug charging to charge the car up overnight and when we are not on drives. So yeah, let's get going. Alright, we're about to set off. Haven't started yet. The range estimator shows we've got 328 kilometers on a full charge. I think we'll get a little bit more than that because we're going to be driving conservatively on the highway, 90 to 100 kilometers per hour. Electric cars generally don't like highways. They prefer the city, the opposite of ICE cars. Yeah, let's see how it goes. This is what it looks like. 19.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We had an average speed of about 98 and traveled 276 kilometers. We had about 100 kilometers left, give or take. Yeah, and it took less than 3 hours to get here, so not too bad. got 41 kilowatts of charging power right now. It's supposed to max out at 60, so it's a bit weird, particularly given that the battery status isn't particularly high already, so it's not started throttling yet. So yeah, it's a bit slower, but not too terrible. And it looks like it'll be fully charged in about an hour and 15 minutes. So yeah, gives us more than enough time to enjoy our breakfast and get some snacks and stuff. While having our breakfast at Wimpy, we could check in on the car's charging status via the BMW app. So the snacks are sorted, they're right there. And we actually ended up spending more time here than we needed to because the car was fully charged about 10 minutes ago. It took about an hour and a half from 28% to 100. But yeah, ready to hit the road for the trip to the Kruger, and going to Punda now, which is about 2.5, almost 3 hours away. Okay. Okay, so update time. We are about 33 kilometers away from Punda Maria Gate. The second stretch of our journey has been a bit slower. Yeah, it's you drive through lots of rural, informal areas, and also Guyana, where the traffic is quite slow. But the good news is that means that we got more regen, so energy consumption is actually a bit better than on the highway on the N1. Love, if you could just press for me driving information and then journey data. There we go. So 16.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. On the first 100 kilometers we got 19.3 on the first stretch. So yes, that is the effect of regenerative braking. We've arrived at Punda Maria Gate. Yes, about 7 hours and 15 minutes of traveling time with the stop included. That's about an hour and a half longer than Google Maps says it will take without a stop. So it's not bad. That's about the time that we stopped. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but we are finally here, and we are now going to check in at reception. We have our reservation. So let's go. We are in the Kruger with an electric car. We've just entered at Punda Maria Gate, and we've got 70 kilometers to go to Shingwedzi camp, where we will be overnighting for 4 nights. We've got lots of range, 198 kilometers, but we're going to try and spare some of that so that we don't have too little to top up, because the charging at the camp is going to be very slow. It's going to be the AC 2.3 kilowatt charging that you use with a three prong plug, because the camps haven't got electric charging infrastructure yet, but hopefully in the future. So yeah, very relaxed. It's very, very quiet. I'm probably the loudest thing around here right now. We've managed to sneak up on a leopard, but my camera is terrible, so excuse the zoom. At the fact that our car is not making any noise.
Too silent, too silent.
We don't often do this, but then for the very rare times that you do close your windows, this is what it sounds like. Alright, so it's about 12 hours after we left Pretoria and we've arrived at Shingwedzi camp at our hut. So the very good news is that I won't have range anxiety in the Kruger because the energy consumption is so much better at low speeds. It doesn't even have to use a lot of recuperation. We didn't brake a lot, the recuperation wasn't a lot, but somehow we managed to increase the range from when we stopped at Punda Gate to when we stopped here. It was around just under 200 kilometers. So the capacity's gone down slightly, but of course the estimation has gone up based on the speeds we drive. So it's dropped from just above 50%, I'd say, to roughly just above 40 over 70 k's or so. But yeah, that's really good, and it's 11 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers that we're getting at the moment compared to the 19.3 we had on the highway in the first section, and then later the 16 something or 17 something we had on the second section on the way to the gate. So that's really, really good. I'm going to be plugging in the charger as quickly as possible. Of course, we have to take load shedding into consideration, which is a bit crazy. We've got a load shedding schedule for the camp, but they also have a generator. I just don't believe they run them overnight, run it overnight. So that might turn out to be a bit of an issue, and we might lose some charging hours. But yeah, it shouldn't be too crazy. So let's see how it goes. Going to plug in right now. Fortunately, there's an outlet right on the stoep, so it's going to be easy to plug in. Great news! The plug at the hut works perfectly for charging the car. It's going at about 2.2 kilowatts, as you can see, peak, which is to be expected from the connection. That's about the top speed you can get. I think the most would be 2.3. So that's fantastic. It is going to take a long time to charge to 100% though. An entire day, 24 hours basically, is what it's saying. So yeah, that's not going to happen. We're just going to charge it as high as we possibly can overnight, and then of course we'll leave in the morning on the morning drive very early, and then come back and we'll plug it in during the day again. Fortunately tonight we're going to be spending quite a lot of time in the camp. It's 5:30 now, and normally we go out for an evening drive, but because we've been on the road for so long on this particular trip, on this first day, we're just going to take a break and start braaiing early, get some good sleep, so that we have keen eyes for the first morning drive of the trip. This is one of the cheaper huts you can stay in that doesn't have its own bathroom. Fortunately, we're right next to the ablutions, so that's great. Of course, there are the chalets that do have bathrooms. Yeah, another accommodation. This is our circle. And let me quickly show you our charging setup for the trip. So, I was a bit concerned about where the plugs are in the hut, whether there'd be plugs available, but there are. And conveniently, as you can see, it's charging already. There are plugs on the outside, which is fantastic. 2 of them, and that one is working perfectly. So that's really, really great news. There's also one on the inside, but it might have been a stretch to try and get to it because it's up there. And seeing as the cable is 6 or 7 meters, that might have been a bit of an issue. Very happy with what we've managed here and what's going on. It's charging at about 2.2 kilowatts peak now. It'll take forever to get to full from there, but fortunately we're here for 4 nights, so charging overnight should be sufficient, even if we're driving during the day, and maybe in the afternoons when we're back in the camp. So I believe my wife is not as good as she was at the start of this trip. You're feeling a bit better? Yeah. Yeah, that's great news. Okay, next up, we're going to start a fire and we're going to braai. It's time to braai and eat and rest. We did start the fire because it's compulsory in Kruger. Daar sê, die vuurtjie is aan die gang. En die vrou glimlag.
Ek swanger.
Good morning. It's about 5:51. We are ready for our early morning drive. The gates open at 6 o'clock, so we're on time. Best chances to see the best wildlife. We had a really good night's sleep in Shingwedzi. Added about let's say 170 kilometers of range with the AC charging overnight. It took about 10 to 12 hours, I think, or maybe 11 thereabouts, and we got 170 k's. Like I said, it went from 39% battery to 70% battery, so that's pretty good. But we are now heading to Babalala for our morning picnic and driving along the very scenic Mbongolo loop, so that's going to be interesting. And we're going to start shooting some shots with the GoPro, so let's hope that goes well. It's that time of the morning. Coffee and rusks, biscuit date. We've chosen a little spot here on the Mbongolo loop with a view. We've got a badger in the riverbed, but it's so far away, there's no way we're going to be able to capture it on camera. Yeah, essential part of a day. We are at Babalala picnic spot. It's a fairly busy day for this picnic spot, normally very, very quiet. And yeah, the X3 has done well to get us here. Okay, so we're back from our first early morning drive, or morning drive because there's no early. It's 26 past 12 now, so it's already around lunchtime. We traveled a good distance. It was 75 kilometers, a trip on the Mpongolo loop to Babalala where we had picnic, and we've returned to Shingwedzi camp. The battery percentage is above 50%. That's down from 69% this morning. And the energy consumption was 14.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so pretty good, but not as good as when you're driving at a slow speed, constant speed on the main routes. So yeah, the stopping and starting behavior being actually quite similar to a normal ICE car, and the regenerative braking, the recuperation, not having that big of an effect. So yeah, but still very good figures. We didn't lose any capacity. We gained during the overnight charge. We gained from 39% to 69% or 70% thereabouts, and we're down now to above 50. So that's not bad. And the range estimate is showing 254 kilometers left. We're gonna rest now, plug the car back in for about 2.5 hours or so before we go on our afternoon drive, where we'll be going on the Red Rocks loop, which should be a shorter route, and we'll see how the charging goes and what the charging state is before and after. Just thought I'd quickly show you our charging setup at Shingwedzi camp. So this is the BMW 3-prong AC charger that you get with BMW's electric cars in South Africa. It's got this on one end, and then of course just your normal charging adapter on the side. And all we do is we plug it into this socket here. There we go. Turn it on. Of course you have to do this first, and then take this connector. We stopped the let me just quickly take this over there. Yeah, there we go. We stopped the i3 just over here, and then we plug it in there. It flashes, prepares, and it's charging. So there we go, good to go. And just to confirm, it's showing charging on here. Yellow-bellied sand snake it would seem to be, and it's very scared of me, so I'm not going to come any closer. I'm zoomed in 6.6 times. Okay, it's now time to leave for our afternoon drive. We managed to add just about 5 to 6% of charge in the 2 hours or so that the car was plugged in now. So yeah, not excellent, but useful nonetheless. So here we go, going to Red Rocks now. Good morning. We got our second night in at Shingwedzi and we decided to stay in camp a little bit later this morning. We're actually also waiting for my mom to arrive from one of the other camps to join us for the last 2 nights here. So we'll be driving out a little bit later today. The weather is going to be a bit hotter, so we expect the aircon to work a bit harder. Whew, my Afrikaans shone through there. It's now just after 7 and very quiet in the camp because many people are out and about. And we are having rusks. I gave my wife a fright. First person perspective. Okay, so it's about 3 minutes to 9. We're going to take a short loop, just an hour or so. The car charged a lot because we decided to wake up a bit later. If we go to the settings, which I always struggle with, even though the system is really good, it's just because I am a bit dumb sometimes. Look at that, it's 92%. I checked on the app. It's a bit silly though that they don't show you the specific percentage in this car. You sort of have to guess. It's like a fuel gauge, and yeah, 500 kilometers of range based on our like fuel consumption or energy consumption. It's very difficult to get rid of that word. Remove that from your vocabulary if you're driving with electric cars. But yeah, so we're going to do a very short loop. It's probably going to be less than 20 kilometers, and then my guess is it'll drop off less than 7% maximum, probably 5 to 7%, but we'll see. It's a hotter day and we might make more use of the aircon, which can prove to be a bit of a challenge for electric cars. Okay, so just a quick update on our short loop and the hotter weather we're expecting today. So it's August, just the butt end of winter. But it's 28 degrees Celsius and it's now 9:49 in the morning. It is going to get very hot. We have a feeling it's going to get very hot, which means we'll have to rely more on the aircon, and that might affect our consumption. On this loop, it's about 14.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers so far, so that's not bad. But yeah, later in the day it might go up a bit, but we'll see how it goes, see how much we can rely on natural cooling. Okay, so just a little update on our consumption after that short loop. This is like what people would typically do in the late afternoon for a quick trip. We traveled 26.8 kilometers, 14.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer, and I just checked the mobile app for the exact battery percentages. It went down from about 92% to 86%, so 6% loss over 27 kilometers. So not bad at all. We're going to plug back in now, and then we're going to enjoy some brunch before we go into our long afternoon trip. So that should only be in about 2 hours time. This trip took about 2 hours as well. For brunch, we're going to be making alagarki with some buri relish. This is amazing relish, really sweet, very nice. And we've got pieces of steak from last night in there,
accidentally fried the steak a little bit dry, but fortunately we had rashers to keep us content, and there's some pieces of sausage in there as well. So this is what we call the alagarki in Afrikaans, which is basically just a mixture of leftovers that you make into a new meal. Like I said earlier, it was going to get hot today, and it's 37 degrees Celsius. So we are running the aircon at about, I don't know, it's probably 60%, 50% power. But yeah, it's very hot, and it seems to be affecting the consumption. It's quite high, but not deal breaking. So after our second afternoon drive, it was quite a long one, 4.5 hours. This was our consumption, 19.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we used the air conditioning quite extensively. As you can see, we traveled 76.3 kilometers. Actually, very interesting trip, because we ended up at the back gate for the camp. Shingwedzi is one of a few camps that actually has two gates where visitors can enter, and it was locked just at 6. So yeah, we had to drive around and ended up being a little bit late, but fortunately the guard explained she didn't have a key for the lock, so she saw us arriving right at the time, but she felt a bit embarrassed and had to go get the key back. But I think she noticed we drove around us and another car. So yeah, we are back at the camp, and that was what we consumed. It looks like our battery level is around 74%. I'll double check on the app. It's probably there. And yeah, I don't trust the range estimator at all, because it moves up and down depending on your fuel consumption. Your fuel consumption can change a lot. Energy consumption, once again. I don't trust the range estimator. The energy consumption changes a lot, and that's based on that figure. So yeah, it's a bit silly that the fuel gauge, energy gauge doesn't show the specific number, but you can for some reason find it on the app. I don't know if there's a way for BMW to update iDrive just to show the battery percentage. Very, very, very odd. But anyway, it was fine. We did well. Dropped about less than 20% capacity over. We're using a lot of air conditioning, and that was over 4 hours and 22 minutes travel time, 76 kilometers. It was about, I think it was about 20%, less than 20% battery consumption. All right, but we are now going to go get dinner at the restaurant at Shingwedzi because we need a break from the braai, and tomorrow we'll be back with the braai. You can never braai enough, but you know, you need to take a break every now and again. As I George, daar so. Lekker. All right, it's gonna be our second morning drive. It's now 3 minutes to 6. It's on the third day because we took a break on the second. The car is about 98 or 99% charged. It actually said it would be finished about 15 minutes from our planned leaving time, but yeah, well, I expect we'll be able to fully charge it by tonight. I'm gonna top it up during the day between our morning and afternoon drives. So yeah, let's go find some animals. We're going on the Mbongolo loop again. Mbongolo. Okay, we just completed our second early morning drive since we've arrived on the third day of our stay. Yeah, not including the first one, traveling here. It was at first not very successful on the Mbongolo loop, which is very uncharacteristic of it, but it is a little bit cool today, which is great for driving, but it tends to keep the animals sheltered, or some of the animals. But luckily, like towards the end, after we returned from Babalala picnic spot, had a lovely brunch. We came upon a really big herd of buffalo. One of the other people that was at the sighting estimated there were probably like 1,000 of them, which isn't that unusual for buffalo herds. They're quite big, but in the thousands is there's only a few known in the Kruger that have reached that size. And then when we returned to the tar road between Babalala and Shingwedzi, we happened upon a cheetah sighting, which is great. We haven't seen those in a long time in the Kruger. Two of them, it was just lying, just being lazy. At least they put up their heads. One of the most difficult animals to see actually when they lie down right next to the road, because they're so thin and they're well camouflaged. Like leopards are well camouflaged, but they're not that thin. And there's quite a few of them, so we're very happy about that sighting. But yeah, we're back. The plan is now to rest a bit for about 2 hours or so. It's now 10 to 1.
then we'll head out of the camp again, do the Red Rocks loop again, just from the other side. We got 15.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers on this trip. It was 90 kilometers, and our charge went from about 98-99%. It hurt me so to unplug just before we reached the 100%. It went down to roughly just below 80%. Yeah, I'll just check the app to make sure. All right, yeah, time to rest now. Have a beer, have a chill, and just reflect upon the morning's things. But yeah, it's been great day. It's a great day for watching because it's not unbearably hot.
We've officially lit the last fire of our Kruger trip.
Last update from Shingwedzi camp. It's now 6 o'clock in the morning, just after 6. We're about to leave to exit the park. We've decided we are going to exit at Polokwane gate. I was a little bit skeptical about using that gate because it's quite a long route within the park that you have to travel, and I wasn't sure about the consumption when we went in, so we probably would have used that gate had we known that the consumption would be so good inside the park. We ended up using Punda, which was great as well because we saw a leopard on our first day, only within a few hours of being in the park, maybe within the first hour or 2 hours possibly. But yeah, now looking forward to another route, driving through Kloof, going back to Polokwane to the DC charging station there at Mall of the North, but we have to try and be there before 3 o'clock because load shedding starts then. Otherwise, alternatively, we'll have to use the BMW charger at their dealership, which is an AC charger, and it's 22 kilowatts, so it's a bit slower. So we're going to drive over 100 kilometers now in the park. Going to go via Mupani and then to Polokwane gate, mostly tar road, and yeah, looking forward to it. The car's on 99% state of charge. It was about to reach 100%. But due to load shedding overnight and the generator in the camp not being on after 10, and somehow it gave some issue for the first time since we've been here, between 7 and 9, it was out for about an hour and a half, so we lost a bit of charge there, but it would have been fully charged. But also something important to take into account. Okay, so here we go. The last little trip in the Kruger, aiming to be at the gate between 11 and 12. So we are into the final stretch, going to the DC charging station in Polokwane. We are out of Kloof, and we've got about 77 kilometers of range left. The battery looks like it's just under 25%, but yeah, I think we'll make it because we are actually not that far away from our destination. The mall where the charging station is located is just 40 kilometers away, so we should be okay. It was a bit energy consuming, heavily energy consuming consuming in Kloof because we had to drive quite a few uphill, strong uphill areas heading into the mountains. But now we've gone out and we've gotten some of that range back since we left Heinsberg. We quickly stopped there for a coffee. The range increased from 70 kilometers to, well, it's now 81 kilometers due to the regenerative braking. So we're all right. We've got more than double the range left before charging station. So we're all good, but it will be the lowest the battery has been on this entire trip. So yeah, you know, it takes some math, but the math checks out. So well done to BMW. Look at that consumption on the uphills. Insane. And we are charging. We arrived with less than 50 kilometers of range, but yes, we made it. We made it back to the charging station. We've got about half an hour before load shedding starts, so we'll see if there's backup power to the station. I doubt it. Then we might just do a top up at the BMW dealership. Gonna grab a takeaway lunch now, late lunch. Okay, so we charged for about half an hour and got the battery from 15% to 39% before load shedding kicked in. Yes, the mall doesn't have a backup generator for the entire mall, only select retailers and shops. So we are going to go to BMW now, the BMW dealership, to see if their 22 kilowatt chargers are available. It does state on the Grid Cars app that it's 24 hours, so hopefully that's the case. It's going to be slower, but it's not heartbreaking or anything. We just need to get enough range to get back to Pretoria. I think 80 to 90% will be fine. We've arrived at the BMW dealership in Polokwane. We're going to do some AC fast charging now. BMW also provides this cable. It's fully all the standard of charging. Going to plug it in there now quickly and see what speeds we can get just for a top up to Pretoria. Might take a while, so we're going to have some lunch now and yeah, maybe read a book or something, talk a little bit. Only downside to having an electric car is load shedding, so you have to plan carefully, and even when you do, things happen. That looks better. It's charging! Okay, so the key is start with a box, tap the card, press the button. I'm not sure in which order yet. Then plug it in, and we've got charge. Thank goodness. So we are getting 11 kilowatts, but I believe that is because of the maximum amps I've got set here. So I'm just going to increase that and see if that changes anything. Alright, so this is not the charging situation at the AC charger at BMW. This is back at the DC charger at the Mall of the North in Polokwane. So yeah, we decided to come back because we weren't able to up the amperage on the charge to 32 amps, so it kept charging at 10 kilowatts, which is just too slow for heading back to Pretoria. Doesn't matter what we set or changed, it seems like the cable is limited to 16 amps. So that wasn't great. If we knew that, we might have just stayed at the mall and waited for the power to come back on an hour later. So it was just an hour's load shedding due to the stage change. Okay, but it's not too bad. Hopefully we can leave at about 4:45. Not planning on charging it to full this time. We are making the best of our situation. We've got a new episode of Only Murders in the Building on Disney Plus to watch, so we've connected it to the speakers. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we can get a Disney Plus or Netflix app on here to watch stuff while you're waiting and charging. Some electric cars allow you to do that, which is cool, but we'll watch it on the phone. Yeah, and then we can kill the time while we have our wimpy. So it's not too bad. Now we can catch up on the episode we missed while we were away, instead of catching up on it when we arrive at home. So yeah, let's watch. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and that you now have a much better idea of what to expect when you take an electric car to the Kruger. It is entirely plausible to do so. Check the description below the video for a link to an article with more data on the trip. Until next time.